I've had two very close family members pass away. They were sick for many years and they wouldn't listen to me at all with my health advice. But then when they got like really sick, hospice or in the hospital, they still rejected my advice. And for years I spoke about this and I heard about this while I experienced it now. And they both passed away from 6 months within each other. And I wasn't asking them to go 100% raw the way I do. I just wanted them to eliminate the things that were contributing to their issues. And so, what I want to talk about is this, everybody. No matter where you are, you have to understand that our Creator built us, our bodies, to be a self-healing organism. It's a health healing that's continuously taking place every single day. He's did that for us to heal. And we might see a movie or something where somebody gets bit by an animal, and because of special effects, they look at the bug bite or the dog bite or whatever, and all of a sudden it clears immediately. Well, the reality is it doesn't clear immediately. That's all special effects and everything else. But our bodies are made to heal and it will clear in time. And depending how toxic your body is or how clean your body is, will determine how quickly or how long it'll take to heal. It's not going to necessarily happen overnight, especially how bad that is. But if your body is the way we were meant to be in a cleaner state, it's going to heal maybe in a couple of days, couple of weeks. Whereas if you're not, it's going to take a much more longer time to heal. So that's like a wound or something. But then there's the internal organs, and when we continue to do things to make them not work the way they should, it's harder and longer for them to heal. But still, our body is designed to heal every and anything. And as much as we go against it on a regular basis, consistently going against it, almost fighting against our body to heal. There's something called an autoimmune disease. It's something I suffered from. It means your body is literally coming against itself. I had ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, and my inflammation, my colon was inflamed, and it seemed like the body's fighting against itself. And there are many autoimmune diseases, from lupus to colitis and all these other known diseases. It's not the body fighting against itself. It's you fighting against the body. You're putting things in there consistently that shouldn't be in there. You're not giving your body a chance to rest and to heal. And you're continuously taking drugs and stimulations and all these things. And you might say, well, I don't take drugs, I don't smoke cigarettes, and I don't do all these bad things. Well, you know what? The more you process your food, the harder it is for your body to do the job it was meant to do. And the most common way, processed food is pretty much anything in a bag, box, container, or can. And processed food is stuff that's taken far away from the way it was in nature and off the tree. But the most common way we process our food, not necessarily the worst way, but it's the most common way, is we cook our food. So I have a farm here in South Florida. I grow fruit trees. I grow greens. I grow everything. I love it. I grow sprouts. And the more I grow stuff, the more I learn about how food is supposed to look and what health is truly supposed to be, because I'm eating this food. So if nobody's ever seen a fruit on a tree, it's hard to understand these things. Do you know nuts, when they come off the tree, they're wet and sometimes soft, like there's a reason why they dry pistachios, because they got to sell them in the market, but they're wet and soft. Most nuts, if not all nuts, are maybe not soft, but they're softer. But the most important part of the food, is the liquid in the food. And when you take that liquid out of the food, not only are you dehydrating the food, but you're also dehydrating your fruit. When you eat that, it's like swallowing a dry sponge. So when you cook your food and even dehydrate your food, you're taking one of the most important elements out of it, is the water. I have to say I've learned so much about health and healing, or confirmed so much, by growing my own food. And I have now a nice, successful channel that teaches people how to grow fruit trees. And it's not difficult to grow fruit trees, but there are some things you need. And you know what's so interesting is everything in nature tells us what's good for us. For example, we say, well, what are carrots good for? And everyone knows carrots are good for the eyes. Well, how do we know that? There's only two ways to know that. Either your parents told you, or if you cut a carrot in half and you have it, it looks like two eyes. Everything the food is good for is what it looks like. Celery, the minerals in celery are good for the bones. Well, you know what? If you look at the shape of celery, it's the shape of the bones. So everything it's good for is what it looks like. It's really amazing the way it all works. And the same thing is when we grow our food, and how the food looks when we grow it, and how the food is when we grow it. So what does food need to grow successfully? It needs water. It needs, I want to say soil, but I want to say good soil, but it'll even grow in bad soil as long as it has water and the other things I'm going to mention. Now, the better the soil, the better it's going to grow. And what is good soil? Soil is the food, the nutrients, the nutrition. And then it needs sunlight. It needs sunlight. Of course, the better the air is, the better the airflow is, the less diseases it's going to get, and so on. But these essential things, water, fresh air, and sunlight. Now, when I grow my fruit trees in certain areas and I see people growing them right up next to other trees and surrounding them with other trees, and they say, well, in the forest, trees grow, they don't have to be spaced out or anything else. The trees don't grow as well. They're fighting for the sun. They'll grow tall and straight to get up to the sun. But when you have trees growing and there's a lot of space, it's like the trees are smiling. They love it. The leaves, where they get their sun on, are green, and it's just beautiful. When you have a tree that grows in soil that's not that doesn't have good fertilizer or good nutrition, the leaves are wilted. The color in the leaves is not well. But when you have good nutrition in the soil, it's amazing. And then the water. If the tree has insufficient water, the leaves actually start to fall off the tree. That's not good because that's how they convert to sun. Why am I talking about trees if this is a health program talking about our bodies? Because just like nature mimics the way the food looks and what's good for us, walnuts are good for the brain. A walnut looks like a brain. The also walnuts are good for the brain. Just like nature mimics that. Nature or is mimics or our creator shows us how to take care of our bodies by looking at the trees. That's what we need. We need the water. We need the sunlight. We need the nutrition. That's it. We need to give ourselves those things. And if we don't, just like the tree suffers, we suffer. Our bodies are crying to get the sun, trying so hard to get the sun. But we fight it. We come inside the house and lock ourselves in the house. And the water, I mean, yes, we could drink water, but the liquid that's found in fruits and vegetables, that's the highly nutritious water that our bodies are pretty much crying for, that we want. And the nutrition is like the soil, the nutrients that's in our food. So if you look at what the ideal foods for our bodies are, they would be the foods that have converted the most sun, which are the leafy greens and the vegetables that grow on the tree, or the fruits that grow on the trees. And we look at the soil they're grown in, that's going to determine how nutritious they are. And then we look at the water or the liquid that's in them. This is what we need to thrive. So what foods give us that? Well, let's take an apple versus an apple pie. Okay? Most people will want the apple pie. Now, we here are healthy people, so we know the apple pie is not healthy, but the marketers know that. So what are they going to say? They'll give it some healthy name. They'll sell healthy apple pie, or organic apple pie. So now we get to see the, well, it's organic, or the marketing says it's healthy apple pie. So now they think that's good. But we know an apple pie is never the same thing as an apple. You've taken the apple, a creator made this beautiful food, and you've now processed it. You've cooked it, you've added sugar to it, you've just completely destroyed anything that's good. And that, but it tastes good because you got all this extra sugar you added. But what about that little apple? Well, I'll tell you, that apple, most people don't like that apple. Why? Because it's not grown in good soil. It's not grown in the right conditions, and it's sitting in the shelf way too long. You go get yourself a farm, and you go get an apple tree, and you grow your own apples. I guarantee if you know what you're doing, that apple that you grow is going to taste better than the commercialized apple, where they have to grow hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds to satisfy the supermarket needs. And I see this with mangoes, for example. I'm a big mango grower, and Florida is a place you can grow mangoes here in the United States. Florida is the main state to grow mangoes. Matter of fact, we're having a big mango festival coming up in June, and I hope you can make it in Florida. It's going to be the biggest mango festival pretty much ever in the world. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have over 200 varieties of mangoes. So I grow mangoes. Now, when I see a mango in the store, it really is a reminder to me that, wow, the produce in the store is much better than the processed junk food most people get. But the produce in the store is, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's terrible compared to what you can grow yourself. And some people say, well, you have a farm and you have the ability to grow that, we can't. And then they give me all the excuses. All the excuse of why we can't be healthy and why we can't do this. Well, I grow sprouts. The main thing I do in my diet is sprouts. Even all the fruit aside, is sprouts, moringa, and sea vegetables. Sprouts, well, microgreens are part of sprouts, moringa, and sea vegetables. I am telling you, those three things, that's all you really need. You got your sea vegetables, which are loaded with minerals. You got your sprouts, which are loaded with vitamins and minerals. And the moringa is like a creator's multivitamin, covering everything. And then you throw the fruit in there, and it's like the perfect thing. But you can grow sprouts anywhere. You can be in an apartment in Detroit and grow sprouts. You don't need to be have a farm to grow sprouts. People look at my trees. I got over 100 fruit trees. They say, wow, you grow all that. What's the most important thing you grow? It's my living sprouts that I grow in my house. You know, and then if the most important tree I have is not the hundreds of mango trees, it's the moringa trees. You know, so everyone can buy moringa, or 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 or, or grow it if you have a, you know, just a small area and you live in a somewhat kind of warmer area. But these are the things. A diet is not that complicated. We get in the way. But there are other things. And I've been interviewing a lot of people on my channel, and this is one man called Dr. Tom Lodi. And Tom Lodi, I definitely recommend you all check him out. Dr. Lodi, he doesn't use the word, he calls the common word that doctors use and everyone use. Now, I'm a believer in a wonderful creator. I'm not into horoscopes and all that stuff. I think that's all wicked and not of our creator. But there are these signs within horoscopes. And one of them happens to be the same name as a popular disease. So Dr. Lodi doesn't even say it. He calls them something like malfunctioned cells. That's what he calls it. He doesn't use the horoscope sign that people are so attached to. You know, and as believers, we're all here into the word, right? I'll tell you what, if you think there's anything good about horoscopes and all these signs and everything else, the astrological signs and the new age stuff, you're misinformed. Our creator wants us to have nothing to do with that. It doesn't matter what month you're born, and it doesn't matter what a doctor wants to call it. You just have some cells that aren't working the way they can be working, and you need to transform that. So what Dr. Lodi does is he talks about the the physical, the mental part of this. I mean, we hear this word, this sign, and all of a sudden it's the end of the world for people. The end of the world. And this is where this is how it's become. Let me ask you all here. You all read the Bible. How many times have you seen this word that destroys people in the Bible? How many times have you seen the word in the Bible? Isn't it amazing? Now, there's certainly diseases in the Bible. There's certainly uh, blistering disease of people dying through starvation and boils and all these. There's certainly things there, but that they call it what it is. They said a blistering fever or some kind of boil. They call it what it looks like, but you never hear that sign, that horoscope. But man has made this thing so common today, and it just destroys people's mind, and it's just we have to get away from this. So Dr. Lodi always talks about. He doesn't mention this thing, and and he tells people you got to get over that and understand the body heals itself. If you want to work with him, you got to understand that. Because if you believe that this thing's going to destroy you, well, it will. It will. The body is self healing. A doctor's there to maybe facilitate, maybe diagnose, and hopefully work with you and advise you what might help you and so on. But the healing doesn't come in the drugs. The healing comes in the body that our Creator made. I believe He's smarter than the drug companies and the people that make up the drugs. And we have to trust that and believe that. But we have to understand if we've experienced something that a doctor has diagnosed, what a great blessing that we have technology to diagnose things early and to start changing things. That's a wake up call. Let's say we got to change something. So think about what I said about the sun and the water and the plants, and think about what you're doing. How much time do you spend outside every day? Think about that. And then the other one, and the big one is, and I can't leave without telling you this, is the healing machine that our Creator gives us is free, and it's called sleep. He says in His Word, I give my beloved sleep. And people are not getting the sleep that they need. There's good sleep, and then there's enough sleep. And people aren't getting both of those things. Sleeping doesn't mean you got to get up 7 times to the night to go to the bathroom. That's not sleeping. When you eat the right diet and you live the right way and you eat at the right time, I spoke previously about not eating too much, too often, and too late. I'm not going to get into that tonight, but go back and listen to my previous lecture on that. But when you eat the right way, you're not getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom 7 times, 6 times, 5 times. No, you're going to sleep and you're waking up. And it's beautiful. And you're well rested. If you have to take a nap during the day, take a nap during the day. There's a good chance that if you need to take a nap during the day, you probably didn't sleep enough. But even then, maybe you did. It doesn't hurt to get extra healing and to let your body do what it needs to get done. It can only help, it's not going to hurt. So get as much sleep as you can and whenever you can. And see, when people feel the need for sleep, what do? They gulp down one of the most poisonous, worst things you can put in your body is a cup of coffee to stay awake. And they're pretty much going against the body's crying for healing. Oh, I need to heal. Please get some sleep. Take a nap. If you need coffee to stay awake, go take a nap. They call it cat nap or whatever. Go take a cat nap if you need coffee. And instead of getting this quick stimulation for a couple of hours, you'll feel regenerized. Like you think about your cell phone when the battery's dying, you plug it in. You don't boost something in there to like temporarily make it okay for a few minutes. No, you plug it in the socket. Well, that's what sleeping is. It's like plugging in the socket. So, and you do these things, you will get better. The body was designed to heal itself, and there's no age limit. You know, there's no incurable disease, only incurable people. Okay.
Age is wealth, good for your health. This is the raw life health show.